بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. So what do we discuss? What was the last part? Now we come to the expedition of Banu Mustariq. Now this was in Shaban, the 6th year after Hijrah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was informed that Banu Mustariq was gathering a whole army to go and Adi's calling you. Was gathering a whole army to attack Medina. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with an with a went with a great force to face the enemy. This time the hypocrites accompanied Abdullah bin Abu bin Saloon, because what's happening? The tide is changing. Up until then, what was happening is that they were thinking that the Muslims are going to get beat, and also they will be injured or their men will be killed. But now what they are seeing is that the Muslims is on the ascendancy. Islam is on the ascendancy. People are they're winning. They're getting spoils of war. So if they become part of it, they'll also get the spoils of war as well. So now they take part in this. They go with them. It was the Muslims won victoriously. There was not much of a battle, anyways. And then afterwards, an incident took place when some of the Sahaba went to collect some water. What happened? There was one of the slaves, the servants of the Muhajirun. He went to collect some water, and there was an Ansari person there, and a little rift went on between two of them. And some say the other person wasn't from the Ansar, he was actually a hypocrite. Allah knows best, right? So the Muhajirun shouted out, Ya al Muhajir, the next one shouted out, Ya al Ansar. Now these are cries of what? Jahiliyyah, in which you are now invoking and you are calling for your tribes to come and help you. And that's wrong, right? That's un-Islamic. That feudal and tribal and racial ignorance, it's no more. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then so Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul now, he's a munafiq, right? Leader of the munafiq, and he takes advantage of this situation and he starts making some really um, ignorant comments. He went as far as saying that, look at these people, you gave them refuge in your town, you gave them wealth, you allowed them to stay here, and now is as if it's like the saying goes in Arabic, you feed your dog and it will bite you, and that's what they're doing. And he mentioned some really nasty things as well. He went as far as saying that what will happen when we go back to Medina, لَيُخْرِجَنَّ الْأَعَزُّ مِنْهَا الْأَذَلَّ, right? The honorable ones will get rid of the disgraced one. And Na'udhu Billah, he was meeting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So his son Abdullah, his name is also Abdullah, but he was a true believer. When he heard of this, he went, and it says that when he got to Medina, he stopped there and he said, I'm not going to let you enter until you apologize and you say that you are the disgrace and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the honored. That's the love, right? That the love for the messenger trumps the love of one's own father. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what happened when these statements and so were made? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again, brilliant, right? Everything about the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is brilliant. So he made the army travel. Usually it was a time that they would not travel, but he told everyone, let's depart. And everyone departed and they started moving. And they made them um, from night until dawn, even the following day, until the sun became too hot. And by that time, now everybody is tired. So everybody goes to sleep. The benefit of that is that those emotions and that anti-Islamic rhetoric that Abdullah bin Ubay was trying to stoke, that came to an end, right? So that's why sometimes when there are issues, get people to do action, get people to go into amal. Then they forget about it. That's the human nature, right? It was on this occasion, and we discussed this in the, subhanAllah, I was thinking about this today, that, it says one of the ways that you understand the Quran as well is through the Seerah, right? Many of these things that now we're going to discuss, for example, the ifk, the issue of ifk took place, the allegations against Aisha radiallahu anha. And we discussed this at length when we were discussing which juz was it? The 18th juz, Surah An-Nur. So this incident now took place, and it was at this battle when they were leaving. Aisha radiallahu anha, she went to relieve herself, and by the time she came back, the caravan had already moved on. What happened was there used to be a structure that the ladies will sit in, and then they will lift the structure and place it on top of the camel. Now Aisha radiallahu anha she was not that heavy, so they thought that maybe she's in there. Little they didn't know that she wasn't. When she came back, she saw the caravan has already left. So she stayed there, knowing that the messenger is going to come for her. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, what would happen is that they would leave someone behind whose job would be to pick up anything that was left on the campsite. So this person is Safwan radiallahu anh. And Safwan ibn Mu'attal radiallahu anh, he is now coming from behind a little while after, and he sees Aisha radiallahu anha there. He had seen her before the verse of hijab and niqab were revealed. So now he sees her, he says, Inna lillah. Aisha radiallahu anha wakes up. She sits, he makes his camel sit down, he puts her on the camel, and he walks ahead in front, and he goes. Now, when they reach the campsite, nobody makes any issue of it because that's normal, right? These things happen. People get left behind. But again, Abdullah bin Ubay, being Abdullah bin Ubay, he starts making these false accusations and slander against Aisha radiallahu anha. Then they go back to Medina. The hypocrites, they spread these rumors. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exonerated and showed the virtue and the chastity of Aisha radiallahu anha in verse of the Quran. And then these individuals who were involved in this slander, they were actually punished because in Islam, to slander someone is a punishable offense, right? To try to make these nasty comments that so and so is doing something with someone's wife, etc., and you don't have proof is an offense. So after this, we now come to the truce of Hudaybiyah. We discussed this when 2 nights ago, right? Today is the 20th. Oh, yesterday. Yesterday we discussed this. Hudaybiyah. This Surah Al-Fatah that we read yesterday in the Taraweeh, this was about that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a dream and he was doing tawaf. He told the Sahaba got excited. They had not seen the Kaaba for so many years, and they proceeded. When they got there, about 1,500 of them, when they got there, before they could get there, they were denied entry. And the Quraysh said, we're not going to just let you come in. And emissaries were sent. Before that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anh to act as an ambassador and to just tell the people that we are only coming to perform or do Umrah. And they had the animals that they were going to sacrifice as well. We've not come to fight, only to do Umrah. Uthman radiallahu anh went and he was detained. And a rumor came out that Uthman has been martyred. At that time, under the tree, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took the pledge that's called Bayatul Ridwan. لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ. And those Sahaba, Allahu Akbar, all of them came and they said, we're going to fight. We're going to avenge the death of Uthman. Allah's Messenger took one hand, he placed it in the other hand, and he said, this is for Uthman. And then it proved to be a rumor. By that time now, the Quraysh start sending one by one some people to discuss. And when they come, subhanallah, when they saw some amazing Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi, he came to speak on behalf of the Quraysh. And when he went back, he told the Quraysh that I've been to a man and I've seen the people that when the love that they have for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is such that when he performs his ablution, they rush to get the water that's fallen off from in his hand. And then he says, I've been to the courts of the kings of Qaisar and Kisra and Najashi, but I've never seen anyone so revered and so honored by his people than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is by his companions. Then finally, a person by the name of Suhail ibn Amr, he came. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw him. He took good omen from that. His name is Suhail. Allah will make things easy. And he comes. And then they make a treaty. And everything in the treaty more or less went against the Muslims. And one of the conditions was that if any Muslim from Medina went to Mecca, the Quraysh didn't have to return that person to Mecca, to Medina. But if anybody from Mecca came to Medina, even though they are Muslim, the Quraysh could come and you could ask them to come back home, and they would be forced to. And whilst he was doing this, whilst this treaty was about to be signed, Abu Jandal ibn Suhail, Suhail's son came, and he was chained. He had managed to escape, and he came. And imagine the Sahaba, they're seeing one of their brothers now in this situation. And Suhail looks and said, okay, oh Muhammad, this is the first condition. Let's see what you're going to do now. And Nabi Sallallahu was saying, but Suhail, just let him come. He said, no. Forced to go back. Everything was against. I can't go through the post-full pact and agreement, but everything was against the Muslims basically. Umar radiallahu anh, he had questions. Allah revealed Surah Fatah, that this is Fatih Mubin. Because what this, and this we discussed yesterday, what this meant was that finally, now there was supposed to be no war for a certain amount of years. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could now propagate the message in peace. Now the Meccans could transact and trade and come to Medina and visit their family, etc. And a lot of peace would prevail. And the Meccans now would be able to see the Muslims in their home state now and how they're behaving. And this became, and then after that as well, the Muslims went to Khaybar. We're going to discuss that, and they conquered Khaybar. So this was a great victory. Now remember that condition that you had to send a person back. So what happened was one of the individuals, Abu Basir, he escaped, went to Medina. The Quraysh went to get him. On the way back, he killed the two Quraysh people who were with him, and he escaped to a seaside area. Abu Jandal then went and joined him. Someone else joined them. And what they would do, any Quraysh caravans that were passing that side, they would attack. So the Quraysh then came to the Prophet and said, "Oh Messenger, oh Muhammad, just let them come." So that's subhanAllah, that's how Allah made it happen. That they themselves had to squash that point that they had made in the agreement. So this was indeed what we would call a Fath Mubin. That's why Mullah Ali Mian rahmatullahi alayhi, he writes that within a year of the truce, and even before Makkah had been captured by the Muslims, as many Arabs embraced the faith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam as had not entered Islam during the last 15 years. And Ibn Shahab al-Zuhri says there was never a victory in Islam greater than this, because now people were in safety, they were able to converse, and there was no intelligent man who heard about Islam but he didn't enter into it. And within 2 years of the truce, as many as those that had entered it before Islam or even more now entered. And Ibn Shihab mentions that if you look at it, in the 6th year of Hijrah, 1500, 1400 Sahaba went with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Makkah for the pilgrimage, for the Umrah. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went, a mere 2 years after, 10,000 Sahaba with them. So that's why. So sometimes in life, something seems off. It doesn't seem it's correct, but we don't know in the wisdom of Allah what it is. So even though at the time everything seemed against the believers, but subhanallah, the believers' steadfastness and the believers following and obeying Allah and His Messenger meant that indeed it was a great victory. It was then in those years that the likes of Khalid bin Walid and Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma accepted Islam. And now, as I said, it opened the road for the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to send letters to the various kings of the time. So inshallah, we continue from here tomorrow, inshallah. This is the night of Friday, and there's a possibility it could be the last Jumu'ah, because next week, Thursday, we have to look for the moon, right? Yeah, next week, Thursday, we have to look for the moon. There's a possibility, you never know, right? We may find it, may not find it. So if you find it, that means we'll only have one Thursday in these last 10 nights. So that's why it's essential to make most of this opportunity. As Mufti Abrar mentioned, this is the night of Friday, and it's also an odd night. So the scholars always mention that when there's an odd night in the last 10 nights, and it is a Friday night, which is the night of Thursday preceding Friday, then the chances of Laylatul Qadr are even greater. Chances of Laylatul Qadr are even greater. That's why it is a great possibility that tonight is a Laylatul Qadr. And that's why whatever we can, whatever acts of worship we can carry out, we carry out. There's nothing specific. I know the youngsters will be praying some Qiyamul Layl. If you want to join in, you can join in. Read any Quran if you want. Do some dhikr, do some dua, make dua for myself as well, my family. Take out some sadaqah. The sadaqah boxes are there, the lillah boxes are there. Take out something, some donation and give. Read durood in abundance. What else we can do? Anything. There's no specific ibadah. So I just want to end tonight. So please bear with me for at least 5 minutes or maybe less. If you have this and you want to sit with your own copy and read it, you can read it. I think there's some copies in the left-hand side. If you don't have a copy, you just want to sit and listen. We're going to read the 40 durood. 40 durood. These durood are a compilation that are from the hadith. So there's a lot of benefit in it. Durood is very beneficial. So you can either follow with me if you want. You can ponder as we go along. But let's try to read these 40 durood. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، سلام على المرسلين. اللهم صل على محمد وانزله المقعد المقرب عندك يوم القيامة. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة القائمة والصلاة النافعة، صل على محمد وارض عني رضا لا تسخط بعده. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد، وارحم محمدا وآل محمد كما صليت وباركت وترحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد النبي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم، وترحم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما ترحمت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ترحم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما ترحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وتحنن على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما تحننت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم سلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما سلمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد، وبارك وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد، وارحم محمدا وآل محمد كما صليت وباركت وترحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد صلاة تكون لك رضا وله ولحقه أداء، وأعطه الوسيلة والمقام المحمود الذي وعدته، وأجزه عنا ما هو أهله، وأجزه عنا من أفضل ما جزيت نبيا أمتي. وصل على جميع إخوانه من النبيين والصالحين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وأهل بيته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل علينا معهم. اللهم بارك على محمد وأهل بيته كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك علينا معهم. صلوات الله وصلوات المؤمنين على محمد النبي الأمي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم اجعل صلواتك ورحمتك وبركاتك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما جعلتها على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وصلى الله على النبي. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات لله الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. سلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. سلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله وبالله. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أسأل الله الجنة وأعوذ بالله من النار. التحيات لله زاكيات لله الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله وبالله خير الأسماء. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. اللهم اغفر لي واهدني. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله. سلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. سلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله. التحيات لله الصلوات لله زاكيات لله. السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. شهدت أن لا إله إلا الله. شهدت أن محمد رسول الله. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات الزاكيات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات الزاكيات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات لله الصلوات الطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. بسم الله والسلام على رسول الله. Let's end with a short dua. Allahumma anta salam minka salam tabarak rabbana wa ta'ala ya dhal jalali wal ikram. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inna kunna min adh-dhalimin. Allah, you're the most kind, you're the most merciful. Oh Allah, we ask you to rain down and send your salutations, your salat and salam upon our beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, inspire us and allow us to live our life according to the sunnah and the way your beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. O Allah, protect us from all bid'at and protect us from all things that are contrary to the sunnah of your messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, fill us with the love of your messenger. O Allah, fill us with the love of your messenger. O Allah, fill us with the love of your messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, grant us all the goodness that your beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked for, and protect us from all the evils that he asked and sought protection from. O Allah, we ask you to rain down your blessings and mercies upon each and every one of us. O Allah, rain down your blessings and mercies upon each and every one of us. Those brothers who are in itikaf and who are spending these nights and days in your home. O Allah, we ask you to accept from them their itikaf, their every moment, their every second. O Allah, we ask you to accept and make it fruitful for them as they continue on their journey. O Allah, we ask you to accept all of our little efforts throughout this month of Ramadan. O Allah, overlook all of our shortcomings. O Allah, we ask you to bless our parents, our children, our wives, our family members. O Allah, those who have been so kind to us and so loving and caring to us, O Allah, we ask you to grant them the best jaza and best rewards in this world and the world hereafter. O Allah, we ask you to accept all our efforts and all the good that we have done. O Allah, O Allah, O Allah, rain down your blessings and mercies upon all the Muslims of this masjid, of this area, of this land, of the Caribbean, of the world at large. O Allah, remove oppression in all its forms. O Allah, bring about peace to the Muslims. O Allah, return Masjid al-Aqsa to the hands of the Muslims. O Allah, bless the Haramain Sharifain and protect it from all filth, from all evil. O Allah, grant us the ability to visit the Haramain Sharifain and Masjid al-Aqsa over and over and over. O Allah, our hearts yearn for Medina. O Allah, take us there over and over. Allah, we wish to be in the blessed land of your beloved. We wish to stand in front of his blessed resting place. Allah, take us there over and over. Allah, take us there over and over. And Allah, when the time comes for us to depart from this world, Allah, take us whilst we are there in the blessed land of Medina. And Allah, grant us the blessed soil of Baqi. And let us be resurrected with the Anbiya, the Siddiqeen, the Shuhada, and the Salihin. Allah, we ask you all of this for all of our family members and all of our loved ones, and for each and every one as well. Allah, we ask you to accept our Taraweeh, our Qiyam, and all the little efforts we are doing. Allah, we ask you to accept these durus that we are trying to impart. Allah, we ask you to bless us with knowledge, beneficial knowledge, open up our tongues and hearts so that we can speak properly and give those beneficial advices that will benefit ourselves and benefit mankind. Allah, accept from us. Ameen. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. So these 25, these 40 duruds, especially with the brothers in itikaf, make a habit. At least once a day, try to read this. Once a day. MashaAllah. And for those not in itikaf as well, very beneficial because these are actually ahadith. So you're going to have two-pronged benefit, inshallah. One is a hadith you're going to be reciting, and also you're going to be reciting durud. Jazakallah, Ibrahim.